Good morning, guys, and welcome to my channel, CSP Kids. Today, we are going to know about the functions in Python. So, beginning with this, first of all, we need to know what is a function. So, function is nothing but a piece of code which will execute itself whenever it is called. Means, like this piece of code got executed when we run it. But that will not get executed until and unless we call the function. Though we'll run it, but whenever we will call the function, then only it will execute itself. So beginning with that, we need to first need to learn how to add a function. So for that, we need to add a keyword that is def. Then we'll type out the function name. Whatever function name we need to enter, that is my fun. This will the function name for me, and then we'll have the parenthesis and a colon. And remember, there is an indentation over here. So that indentation is necessary because Python is a language which works on indentation. Like many other languages, when we talk of Java, when we talk of C++, all these need brackets. So the bracket concept is replaced by indentation, that is spacing in Python. So indentation is necessary. It also makes the code a bit readable. So therefore my function now will enter initialize a variable that is x is equal to 5, and then print x, and now this won't execute. Now we need to call it. So for calling it, we'll type the function name with a parenthesis without a colon. See, the 5 got printed. Just for an example, if you want the user to enter the value of 5, so we'll type out input. For that, we need another keyword that is input, and enter a number, the number. And now we are executing itself. So whatsoever the number the user will enter, like if I enter 10, so that will be stored in x, and this enter number is displayed over here. So and enter. So 10 got printed. So this was input. And now if we want to initialize values of few variable, when we will call the function, we don't want the user to input it. We will only input the numbers like we programmers, but when we will call the function, only then. So for that, I'll type a comma b, and now a will be 10. So this a comma b are two variables. One variable is a and second variable is b. These are called parameters. These are variables which we enter within the parenthesis during creating a function. And 10 and 12 are the values to these variables. So the value for a is 10 and the value for b is 12. Now print, like for example, if I print a plus b, so 10 plus 12, it will get printed. And these 10 and 12 are called arguments. These are called parameters. The variables are called parameters, and the arguments which we enter, and the values which we enter to the variables while calling a function is called arguments. So we'll run it again, enter the value that is 10. So 10 and 22. 22 is the value for this a plus b. So it got printed. Now for example, if we want to sum the value of this, or we want to subtract, just for example, if we want to subtract, subtract the value of x, so it will create an error if we will run this, because there will be a type error. A string and an int cannot be concatenated. I'll show you that. Like I enter 1, only 1 I enter, and then I run this. So see, there's a type error. Why? Because this is int, the values for a and b are int, but the values of x is taken as a string. Whenever we will input, we'll use this input keyword and we'll enter text over here. The value for the variable will be string. So to change the value, we'll add here int. This is called casting. We are taking the values, we are telling the system to, okay, take the value for x as int. So int, then input, and then enter number. Now there won't be an error. 1 C, enter number 1. 1 is the value for x, so x got printed, and the a plus b minus x is 21. Now if we want to, there's another way actually by which we can initialize this parameters, like we can enter the arguments. In the previous way, like when we just entered the value, we need to take care of the fact that a, whatever the value of a is, in the same place as we mention a, like where we mention the variable, the same place we need to mention the argument. And we also need to take care of the fact that the number of parameters and the number of arguments are equal, otherwise again an error would be displayed. So now if I want to initialize the value of b first, let us take 5 comma a is equal to maybe 10. Now let us see, 1 enter. See again, this is another way we can enter the values for the arguments by typing the variable name followed by an equal to sign and then initializing them. So by this way there is an ease that in whatever order we want to initialize them, we can initialize. But here also we need to take care of the fact that the number of arguments and the number of parameters should be same. That is, if there are two parameters a and b, there can't be just one argument that is b, and even there can't be three arguments, then it will create an error. So and now let us move on with recursion. That is a very important topic while we're doing functions. So for that, we first delete this code and this code as well. Def my function tab, and now first enter value called k, or let it be n. And this is a fine. Now a is equal to m minus or m plus my func m minus 1. If a is no if m, m is greater than 0, return wait, I should remove this over here. Let me remove this. Copy, return print b, else I just forgot the colon over here. Colon is special. Else return no else why I'm adding a print over here. This print is wrong. else a is equal to 0. Return return a. And my function m is now equal to, just say, 11. So let me first run this. Execute this now. 66. So now let me show you how 66 came. So first, I'll add this comment later. We are defining a function name called myfunc. We are entering a parameter called m. If m is greater than 0, a, we are now creating a variable named a is equal to m, whatever the value of m is, plus we are calling the function again, myfunc m minus 1. So whatever the previous value of m is, we're calling the function again, and now the value of m will be previous value minus 1. And each time it will call the function itself, else, and if this condition is not met, if m is not greater than 0, then in that case a is equal to 0 and return a. Now let me tell you how it happened. We entered the value of m as 11. So 11, so 11, a is equal to m plus myfunc, we are calling the function again, m minus 1, so 10. We call the function, now m was greater than 0. First we enter the value m as 11 over here, 11. Then m11 is greater than 0, true. A is equal to 11 plus 10. Then we are again calling the function. We are calling the function, and then now 10 is greater than 0. A is equal to m plus my func m minus 1. Again m minus 1 is happening, so 9, and it is repeating itself until the value is 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And when the value will be 0, it will automatically return 0. Means, it will automatically come out of this conditional loop, if else loop, if else conditional statement, and return a. So when we add this, then we'll get the value 66. This will be equal to 66. This was how each time it called the function again, and this added it. We are calling the function. So how is it happening? 11 got printed, then we call the function with m minus 1, again it came, and plus m it is getting. So now the value of m is 10. Then again it is calling the function with a decreased value 9. Then again 9 is getting added, and this it is repeating until the value of m turns out to be 0. And as it is turning out to be 0, we are returning a. So this is if else conditional statement. Here also we need to add a colon. So there is nothing. Wait, I think, why did I add this over here? I think I don't need to add this. This was wrong. Yeah, this would do. Yeah. Actually, don't need to add a parenthesis. That was my fault. I added it, but we don't need to. So this was all about today's video. Thank you for watching the video, and do like, share, and subscribe my channel.